So using the Boolean operator to remove inside faces is a very nice method. I mean, maybe you want to do like UVs first, so you can, or you have the islands to separate your mesh, or assign the vertex colors or group stuff, wherever is your preferred method of keeping your meshes separate, or like as accessing the different parts. But even if you're not like kind of making a boolean, just adding a boolean union operator, or doing it in ZBrush or some other place, will remove, in most cases, remove all the interior faces. Um, so let's have a look at this guy. Too many windows. And just a few notes on this kind of texel density, which is kind of a word that's going around a lot now. Um, the way I do it is that I I usually just do it manually, if not the layout is doing it for me. So here, for this guy, for instance, I have 3 islands. I mean, and it's quite easy. And I did this like 4 or 5 islands, or whatever. But just adding a texture. Um, select. Someone has a mic that's not muted, maybe. Select. And just kind of scaling your islands and adjusting their select. And just making sure. I mean, it's always a bit of a eyeballing it. But same, you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be like. It's never exact. I mean, if you're not making a cube. Um, but also another point is on this is that if you have a mesh that has like a lot of details in one area, you might want to make that much bigger in the UV space. Like traditional, these old school kind of Doom and Quake characters. If you have a look at those UV maps, they usually have the face is covering half the map, and then all the other parts of the body are like spread out around that. So because a human or usually pays a lot more attention to a face of another character than they do to their shoes. So and also here, I mean, for this one, I realize I have all these polygons here are unnecessary. So to be optimized, I would remove these guys here. But here, I removed the top faces, just, and that also made it, like, so if you're gonna be picky, remove anything that's not used. But I would not go as far as to kind of remove guys here, because that I like these kind of manifold, meaning watertight meshes. Um, that's a word I learned recently, not recently, but a few years ago. Manifold geometry, meaning watertight mesh. And usually for characters, that's a thing. Um, all right, so let's go into Substance. Um, and let's just save this as something new. Nope. And throw all this away. Actually, I haven't solved the vertex color bug, it's still here. So I had to actually make colored materials. New, let's do this one key. Environment art, rocket demo, this guy. So I mean, this is a 280 kilobyte mesh, and I don't even know how many triangles, but not too many. So here is the original mesh, the low poly. It's yeah, it's 5,000. I realized I didn't have the high res. So let's open this guy again. It's been a little problem for me because I can't sit and talk at my workstation, so I have to go on my laptop, like I think I complained about earlier. But let's take this one and just pretend we bake the mesh maps, and I'll delete all this. So on iteration, I mean, I think is a really nice way to work. That meaning that you don't have to finish everything on the first round. I mean, if you're making an entire environment, or if you're making, yeah, in this case, I'm making a rocket. I could easily sit with this one, like my initial low poly version, and just make the entire rocket, and then realize, no, I want to make like a little more details on the exhaust, and then I would go ahead and iterate and make this one. I can actually show you, because this is a blueprint here that I made. So I can make different configurations of engine setups. Which is quite cool. How to make this? It's pretty much the same as we did last time. It's a little blueprint. I made a construction script thing here. Outer ring. So I will just go over it for you technically interested people. I will unplug these guys here. Alt click to unplug them, and we can see. Oh, compile. So now I have just the outer ring here, and how to make something like this. Whoops, I think I dragged the slider up to infinity here. Minus. So let's do 20. Construction script. So what I've done here to make a circle. First off, construction script. I made this random stream just to have reproducible random rotations. The sequence is because I made an outer ring, inner ring, and just added a single engine in the center. So here's the for loop, and same as last time, this is the public variable that controls how many instances of the mesh do we want. And I click this guy or the eye to make it visible outside in the editor or in the level. And since the loop is 0 based, I do a -1, or I will get 1 extra. And here to split the rotation, or kind of to know where it is, using sinus and cosinus. And I will have now don't have a pen, but I will just have a super quickie on sine and cosine. Just so you know what it is if you missed it in school. New. What? I don't, I'm getting some little screaming and stuff. Oops. Um, let's do a bit thicker line. Oh, let's pretend this is perfect. So what the sine and cosine gives, it gives a fractional value. So let's get the brush and a new layer and a new color. So let's go with red. Okay, so this is a circle, and it's called the unit circle, and this is kind of 1 here, and this is also 1. This is -1. Oh, it's nice. Oh, 7, no, -1, and this is also -1. And 0 degrees is straight up. So at 0 degrees, your x-coordinate is your sine. So the sine for 0 degrees is 0. And the cosine is your y-coordinate. So cosine for 0 is 1. And over here at 45 degrees, it's something like 0.6 or something, and so on. And that produces this kind of classic curve that is very useful. It's the basis for Perlin noise and all this stuff. So this is the sine curve actually, because it starts zero. This is degrees laid out as a straight line, and here is 90 degrees. You get sine 1, and here is 180 degrees. So you get the 0 on x coordinate, and here's 270 degrees. You get the -1 on, and so on. And the cosine would be starting at 1 and then doing like something like that. That's very useful. That actually is the if you want to make a rainbow as a texture, accidentally made a rainbow. I'm not sure I have it here, but that's sine for one of the channels, so like sine for the red channel and cosine for the green channel, and then sine plus 90 for the blue channel, and then you would get a perfect perfect rainbow. Okay, rainbow gradient. All right. And also that means that if you split your angles like into as many parts as you have instances here. So if you have 21, so you will have 360 divided by 20, and then you multiply that with the index from the loop, which will be 0 the first time. So the first one will be at 0 degrees, the second one will be at 36 or like 18 degrees and so on. And to get the x and y coordinates, you'll just do a sine on that angle, and then I multiply that with the radius, and I set that to the transform. And then I add a static mesh with the transform. Location C is nothing, is up, is flat. Rotation X and Y is nothing, C is upwards, so it's the kind of the spin of it. Is a random from the stream here between 0 and 360, so it's like any angle. And this one is not used, I'm just using the mesh as it is. And then I just repeat that again for the inner ring with another radius, and same random rotation here, and then I just add a straight add a mesh at 0, 0, 0 in the center. So not super complicated if you know your sine and cosine stuff. And that's useful. I mean, complexity is kind of useful to kind of trick the eye, or you know, make this kind of overwhelming stuff that you can't really make by hand. So let's go back here. All right, so the very super basics of a simple substance painter workflow would be to just start by adding a base material and maybe adjust it a little bit. Or not. It's tuned in a little bit. Then add another material and right click on it and do the color selection mask, and just click your color or the part of the asset you want it to be on. Tune it a little bit. Now I'm on the paint. Maybe adjust the color, and I mean, just this simple stuff. You don't have to go crazy. I mean, like right now, I'm super lazy with materials. I always just want something on there, but just changing the colors and the values a little bit will add to your feeling of ownership to the asset. And I'm actually going to reuse this machinery smart material. It's one of my absolute favorites. And same here, just right click, color selection, pick a color, go for this one. Get in here, get the base color, change it to something else. Maybe like that. and then just add some really freaky. So here my UV was not very nice, but anyway. So and that could be it. I mean, maybe I want to add something on these kind of lines here. Let's add the color here. Oops. Remove that. Pick color. Can't navigate. Pick color, and I do this one. And of course, you could add lots of generators and all this. Do 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 do. Hmm. I'm not even gonna pretend I know what this is, but so that would be like the super base. So if you're making an environment and want to make some props, I mean, just by going through Substance, downloading some nice um, materials, and just spending like a little time with it will make a huge difference. And also and maybe like if you want to make a few variants, why not? I mean, let's see, export. So let's do 1K for this one, or even 512, see how it looks. And what rocket demo? T2. Export. Let's have a look in here. Take this guy. Make a new material, or make a new material instance. So here's my instance. Duplicate it and assign it. Double click it. I like to keep it here so I can see what I'm doing. And I will import the textures. Import. Oh, T2. Rocket Engine 6B. They're actually the same name. Let's make another folder. Import. And I will rename these guys. Base color. The normal would probably be exactly the same, but anyway. Packed. So packed map, go in here and make sure that sRGB is correct, so it's not making any like logarithmic or exponential storing of the values. Compile, save, close. Norm map and the base color map. And we have our friend here. And this is the 512 version also. So you can see that maybe I don't know, maybe over here it's all right. And the other one we can go maybe here without being looking too bad. So that's pretty much a trial and error thing. Like how much texture space do I need? Um, and I mean, if you're making a PC game, a few 2K textures is not the problem. What is it? Let's have a look. Yeah, so 512 is resource size 171 kilobytes, so nothing at all. And this one is 2.7 megabytes for 2K. And also, I mean, this one is quite important to use the packed map because if you had like instead 3 different color maps, that would make a huge difference. That would be like not smart. So using the packed map is really nice, and it's quite easy. Like if you're in Mixer or some other software to set up the same kind of packed map. I just use the same standard as in Substance Painter Unreal packed map setting. So that's occlusion, roughness, metallic. Um, so here's the occlusion map. Uh, Here's the roughness, and here is the metallic map. Um, Nothing in the alpha, I guess. No. So let's take a break, and I would like to have some. If anyone has any like questions, please. It's the uh, last chance to ask them. I mean, you can always ask at Discord or like that, but don't be shy. I mean, if there's like something that you need to know for this current assignment, um, some shader thing or something with Unreal, um ask it in with the voice or in the chat.
I wanted to ask you something.
Yep.
I for the segment, I wanted to use some of the assets from Megascans, as you said,
Yep.
and I'm finding a problem, and I wanted to know if maybe you've got this problem too, and it's that all the foliage appears white when I import it. I don't have this problem with any other kind of assets, but the foliage just appears like white.
Hmm.
And I can change the tint, but it has like this underlying white. And I search in their forums, and other people seems to be having this same problem, and they didn't answer anything. So I was wondering if you have any idea about it, or if you've encountered this problem.
I have not had the problem, uh, but I'll let's try to have a look at it after the break.
Maybe you can just like bring something from Breach for a second and see if it happens to you too, because
Yeah,
I've tried installing, I've tried absolutely everything, and it's very, very annoying.
yeah. Yeah, I'll have a look at it. Let's go at 20, 20 past 11, and I will try to do it, see what we can do. And also, Hanna had a question. Yeah, YouTube clip is all right, but do a make some kind of document, like a simple text document or something, and put the link there and upload that into Canvas. So it's not just a Canvas comment, that it's like a some uploaded file. Um And also don't forget, if you use like third-party assets, also you need to put that in the documentation, like you make a PDF with some images and like highlight what is, from where and all that. Okay, so I'm going for a coffee and we talk soon.